He's climbing in your windows. He's a sociopath, narcissistic, so you better hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife. 'Cause he's manipulating everybody in here. Hi! For those of you who don't know me, my name's iOLANDE Melody, and I'm an independent music artist from the UK. And I also make videos every Tuesday, so I suppose that I'm also a YouTuber. Obviously, you've clicked on this video because you are wondering whether you are being gaslit. You've clicked on the right video because today I am going to give you all of my wisdom and experience and tell you all of the warning signs and how to avoid this happening on a repeated basis. Like it does to me. I don't know why this happens. I must have manipulate me written on my forehead because 90% of the guys that I've been out with have been sociopaths. It is a reoccurring theme. These sociopaths, narcissists, they're very good at what they do because no matter how hard I try, one of them always slips through the net. I feel like the best thing to do at this point is to share my wisdom and tell you guys what to look out for. And hopefully some people can avoid this thing happening to themselves. For the sake of context, I'm going to talk to you guys about what gaslighting actually is because people may have different definitions and some people aren't familiar with the term. Gaslighting is when someone specifically goes out of their way to make you doubt your own sanity. It's a technique used by sociopaths, narcissists, and psychopaths. Believe it or not, there are differences between these three, but they all kind of have the same mechanics. You might be thinking to yourself, why would someone want to do this to someone? Well, I've been wondering that all my life. And the only logical conclusion that I can come to is that these type of people have no empathy. Because all of these personality types that I've listed are actually a psychological disorder. But please don't let that encourage you to feel sorry for these people because you will never fix them. This is something that I've had to learn the hard way. So not only do they lack empathy, but they also expect that everybody else works the same way that they do. They are extremely illogical, and they also lack trust in others severely. They also probably have a lot of self-esteem issues, and the manipulation and the tools that they use to essentially control others makes them feel like that's the only way that they can actually hold down a relationship, whether it be a romantic relationship or a friendship. In this video, I'm going to hyper-focus on relationships because that seems to be where the gaslighting is happening all the time with me. But also bear in mind, you can be gaslit by your parents, your friends, co-workers. These narcissistic, sociopathic people are everywhere. Everywhere. Basically what I'm saying, stay at home. No, I'm kidding. Just be a wise person. Okay, I've been talking for a long time now and ranting. So, we're actually gonna get into it now. I swear. One thing to look out for first and foremost is these people are very, very charismatic. You know, like when you watch 50 Shades of Grey, or if anyone's seen the series You on Netflix, don't get it twisted, they are sociopaths. You may think to yourself, wow, this man is so romantic and he's so caring. That's all part of the persona. In this day and age, it's very rare to find a guy that is a gentleman, that opens the door for you, that does romantic things, that pays attention to all these little things about you and then presents you with presents to prove his love, etc. Again, this is a trick to gain your trust. When you first start talking to one of these people, they are yes men. What I mean is that you can literally talk about anything about yourself and they will agree. They may even check out your social media. They may even try and find out information about you before you even meet them. They'll gather up their evidence and then they'll know exactly what to say when they start talking to you. You'll talk to them about your beliefs, you'll talk to them about your hobbies, your interests, and they will just be like, oh my god, me too. They literally will not question anything that you say. They won't even come up with like any kind of opposing opinion. They will just agree with everything. And what this ensures is that because this is such a rarity to find someone that ticks all of your boxes, you'll be like, oh my god, he's so much like me. Just to give you an example, I had an ex once that said to me he had absolutely no problem in me modelling. And back in the day, some of the photos that I did were kind of like artistic nude photos. Some of them were lingerie. And I said to him, is this an issue? Like, would you get jealous about that? And he turned around to me and he said, no, it's art, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, like, I know that I'm going home with you, so people can look, but they can't touch. So tell me why, months later, he turns around to me and he tries to get me to delete all of my modelling pictures from my Facebook profile because apparently his friends are saying that it makes him look bad. He said that he had no problem. He also pretended like he liked the same music as me. Later on, I found that he hated the music that I liked. Why lie? Because he was trying to pretend like he was the male version of me. I know that this might seem like it's not very relevant and that I'm just talking about my issues, but this is all very, very relevant because what you first need to understand is that these are patterns of behaviour that happen, and it is all part of what I like to call the prep stage of gaslighting. The prep stage is all about gaining your trust and making you feel like this person just understands you so much. And some of them can really, really put the graft in to get you to let your guard down. Just a disclaimer, I know that women can be psychopaths as well, but from my experience, most of my relationships have been with men, so please forgive me that I keep referring to the sociopath person as a male. Sociopaths come in all shapes and sizes and genders. Anyway, so Prince Charming has come along. One thing that this person will do is that they will open up to you about stuff that you would think would be quite a secret, kind of. Like they might open up to you about their childhood trauma or something really dark that happened in their past. They always go on about how their ex hurt them and she cheated on him. Take it with a grain of salt, please. People can say anything that they want to, but if your intuition's telling you that this is just, there's something that's not quite adding up, take note. What they do is they open up to you about their traumas, and it's all a game of trying to get you to trust them so that you can open up about your traumas and you can open up about your insecurities, so later on they can use it against you. Another thing that they will do, they always do this, is in the beginning stages, whilst you've still kind of got your guard up and you're kind of working them out, they will literally shower you in compliments all day long. Or they will go above and beyond to make you feel so good about yourself. And in the beginning, you'll feel like you're just on cloud nine. They'll make you feel so high, but trust me, they are gonna drag you down. And this is why I always say don't get into a relationship unless you really love yourself, because you cannot rely on another person to give you confidence. It's dangerous. Okay, so I'd written notes down in my phone and then I've just deleted them by pressing the button accidentally, so okay. So another thing that they'll do is they will confuse you. Remember, they are illogical. All of that prep that they've put in to make you feel great about yourself, you won't suspect at all that they're going to start gaslighting you because they've been so open with you, they've complimented you, they've made you feel on top of the world. So why would that person have ill intentions towards you? The moment that you start to let your guard down, all of those compliments and bigging you up and making you feel fantastic will be revoked. They only put the work in so that they can actually get inside your head, and then once they feel like they are inside your head, that's when the gaslighting begins. At the start, it will be kind of like small little things here and there, and then they'll be testing the water. They're always testing you, and they will just keep on pushing it and pushing it. And if you're wondering why so many people stay in these toxic relationships, it's because it's not that simple, cut and dried. It is a form of psychological torment. So another thing that they'll do is they will lie about really, really insignificant things, and a lot of their stories won't make any sense. They could literally lie about the weather. You could be looking outside and you could be like, oh, it's raining. They could be like, no, it's not. You could both be standing in front of something and you could clearly both see the same thing, and they will convince you that you're not seeing what you're seeing. Here's a funny example. Right, the first boyfriend that I ever had, I was about 12. This was the first taste of gaslighting that I ever had. So we used to go to the local spa, and when we opened the door, it used to go doo 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 doo. And he turned around to me and he went, it doesn't go like that. It goes doo doo. And I was like, we both walked through that door at the same time. I heard what I heard. And you're telling me that the tune is different now? What? We even got so irate about this discussion that we both went through the door again just to prove a point. And I heard the same tune and he still was adamant that it went doo-doo. This was a tiny, tiny, tiny example. There was far more obvious things that happened later on. It sounds ridiculous. And it is ridiculous, because why would someone want to just lie about things all the time? And the reason why is because eventually, if you stay with that person, you will start doubting your own judgment and your own sanity. And they want that because they want you to rely on them. They want you to get to the point where you literally think that you're going insane. It drains you. It makes you feel like you turn into a shell of yourself. But to them, that's where they feel safe, because they know that you won't have the strength to leave them. By lying to you all the time about all these little things, it means that in the future, they can lie to you about much bigger things, and you'll just believe them because you've already questioned your own sanity on many occasions. So you could eventually catch them cheating. You could literally see them in the act, but because they've gaslit you all the way there, they could convince you that you didn't see that. It didn't happen. You've got it wrong, as always. Another thing they'll do is they'll make you feel like you need them. They will say stuff to you like, what about all that I've done for you? Or my one ex, the famous words that came out of his mouth, how are you going to be able to live without me in your life? He literally said those words. To be fair, I've been doing pretty great since he's been out of my life. I have my sanity, I feel so much better about myself. I started a music career and wrote about 3 or 4 songs about him. I like to feel like all these shitty experiences that I've had in my life have actually encouraged me to make the best content I've ever made. And I honestly will not miss listening to him play Lana Del Rey, driving down the motorway, looking at the sunset, making me feel like this is like a movie. No. I don't really miss that, to be honest. So anyway, they'll make you feel like you need them. They'll make you feel like you are crazy, unstable, emotional. They will constantly downplay your emotions and they will constantly invalidate why you are feeling that way. You could be genuinely upset about something that they've done to you and they will turn it back on you. They'll say stuff to you like, oh, you're so sensitive. They often upset you and then they make you feel like you need them because they are now making you feel better about being upset, but they're the ones that upset you. For example, me and my ex had like a huge fallout. He really upset me. He sent me flowers to my house and then left a little message on it and it said, I'm sorry you're going through a hard time, but I'll always be there for you. I love you. What? Am I going through a hard time? I'm pretty sure that you just upset me, like... Okay. Give me a second, let me think, because there's so many tricks. There's so many tricks that they play. It's ridiculous. Oh, yeah. This is a common trick. So, I don't know about you guys, but if you hear the phrase, ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies, run for the hills. I've heard this a few times, and every time it's got my back up, because listen to what that says. That literally says, I'm gonna lie to you. I don't know whether these like sales guys seem to think that this is some kind of gif of the gab or something. It's really, really not cute, and it's not going to instill trust. So maybe push that out of your vocabulary. Just an idea. They use this thing called deflection all the time. So you could ask them a question, and then what they will do is they will not answer that question. They will talk about something else. They'll literally tail off the conversation onto something else that is, maybe sometimes it's related, maybe sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter. It's distracted you. And then when people ask you what they said, you kind of just think to yourself, well, I didn't really understand it, but maybe that's my understanding. Like maybe I'm just not a very good listener. You often turn around to yourself and you're like, I'm just not a good listener. I need to listen better. But the problem is that you start to get to the stage where you try and listen to them so intently and nothing they say makes sense. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense because it's deliberately engineered that way. The arguments will drain you so much that you will always lose because you'll always feel like you're going crazy. The human brain only has so much energy within the day to make sense of things. And they know that, and they will just keep confusing you until you don't have any more energy to give to the argument. So you're just left at a stalemate, and then you think to yourself, I don't want to bring that thing up again, so I'm just gonna let it slide. And then they just think, I've won. And then soon after the argument, because they know that they've got nothing to be actually pissed off at you about, they're the ones that are deliberately gaslighting you, they'll all of a sudden start trying to be really, really nice again. They'll try and distract you by like giving you some kind of huge compliment or doing the coupley things that you two used to do and talking about inside jokes. And then usually what happens is because you've went from being so drained and then suddenly they're being nice again, you just think, well, I'd rather feel better than feel how I was feeling before when we were having that argument. Oh, and another thing, they will criticize you a lot. Not in the beginning. They'll wait a good while until they can see some chinks in your armour and they might see that you're feeling a little bit insecure about something. You might ask them for advice on something. Most of the time you don't ask them for advice on something and they'll just tell you their opinion. And they'll give you constructive criticism. But often the constructive criticism they give is not constructive, it's actually destructive. But what they'll do is if you get upset by anything that they say, they'll say, you can't take criticism. And I'm only trying to help. I'm trying to make you stronger. Everybody in your life is just talking you up. They're all yes men. But I'm the person who actually cares about you and I actually want you to grow. And that's why I'm criticizing everything that you do. I've literally had criticism all of my life. I can take criticism. I also have a very vicious inner critic that keeps me in check. I don't need opinions from people who are trying to sabotage me. When I say it's sabotage, I mean they're giving you bad advice to do something that is actually the wrong choice, but they want to see how much you'll believe in them. For me, I had an ex and I showed him one of my tracks before it was released. He listened to the track and then he just criticised everything about the track. And then he literally came out of this statement and was like, well, if it's a pile of shit, I'm not going to turn round and be like, oh yeah, that's the best thing since sliced bread. That's going to be a #1 hit, that is. He said to me, oh, I'm sorry I'm not like all of the rest of your friends that just light smoke up your arse. He criticised stuff about my track that was actually like the best parts of the track. And when I released it, everyone was like, oh, that's my favourite part. But he told me to literally remove that part from my track. Now, something that I think a lot of people could relate to is, say for example, you're going on a night out with this person and you pick an outfit and you think you look bomb as fuck. You're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, This outfit is fire. I feel so confident. You go downstairs, you present this outfit to them, and they make little jabs. They'll tell you the flaws within that outfit and they'll say why they seem to think that it's not a good outfit. And then what they'll do is they'll present you with an outfit that they like. If it's a female and male dynamic and the guy wants the girl to kind of look less sexy, he'll present you with something that's covered up. Or he'll turn around and he'll be like, it's not that much of a big event. Like, why are you all dressed up for? Why don't you just wear a jumper and jeans and put your hair in a top knot bun? Doesn't wash with me. You knew I was extra when we got into the relationship, so why try and unravel that? Why decide like halfway through that you don't like that aspect of me? My hair. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, no. Oh fuck. Ew. Oh no. Oh, I've lost a whole hair. Oh god. My polygels are growing out at the moment, and around the cuticle it's all like skanky. You see how skanky that is? Anyway, this video is probably going to be really, really long, and I could come out with so many examples. So many examples. However, the most useful part of this video is going to be my advice on how you can navigate this kind of situation, identify that you're being gaslit, and how to unravel all of the damage before it gets bad. So these are a few little dirty tricks which you can use to identify whether this person has got your best interests at heart. Now, some people might see this as being manipulative and it's like, why fight evil with evil? But I think at this stage in the game, if the reason you're doing this is to protect yourself, go for it. Tip number 1, don't tell them everything about you. As you can tell, I'm pretty much an open book. I like to tell people about who I am and what makes me tick and stuff like that. And it's gotten me into trouble before because people have known how to get at me, but it's also made me grow as a person. Keep some things to yourself, especially the real triggers and traumas that you have. If you know that you have a certain weak spot, don't let that person know and don't indicate anything about it. For example, when I was anorexic, obviously I was very insecure about my weight. I didn't want anyone to say anything. If someone turned around to me and said that I was fat, it would literally destroy me. Nowadays, I'm fine. But people knew about those triggers and people would deliberately press my buttons. So that's what I'm saying. If you have a certain trigger that is really, really bad, don't let them know. And if you want to find out quick time how they would deal with a trigger of yours and how gently they would look after your heart, give them a fake trigger. For example, my boobs are small. I wear a big girl bra, which makes it look like my boobs are a hell of a lot bigger than they actually are. I even made a video about it and I was wearing this exact top. I'll link it, I don't know, I might link it up here or you can just search on my channel. I am not insecure about it at all. But what I would do if I was in that situation, I'd go up to this guy, for example, and I would say to them, oh, I don't know, like, I feel like my boobs are really, really small. Like, I've always been really insecure about it. Do you think that I should get a boob job? The person should turn around to you and say one of two things. Number 1, you don't need that, you're beautiful how you are, I think your boobs are beautiful. Or number 2, they should say to you, well, if you're really, really insecure about it and you feel like it would make you feel better within yourself, then, you know, I'll support you whatever you choose to do. But honestly, I think that you look beautiful the way that you are. This is what they should say to you. They should not turn around to you and say, yeah, that, you know what, if your boobs were bigger, like, you'd look really, really good. They shouldn't say that. If a person is in a relationship with you, they should not be trying to mold you into their ideal partner. They should genuinely love you the way that you are. I would always say to people, if you are insecure about something and you want to do something to change it, don't let anyone get in your way. Like, if you can't get over that insecurity, then I don't see what the issue is in changing it. But at the same time, I do feel like people should try and love themselves for who they are. Anyway, that's a huge tangent. Let's reel it back. So you know how I was telling you earlier that they will put up this pretense for a good length of time until you start to let your guard down and until they feel like they can manipulate you. What you want to do is you want to pretend that you are vulnerable before you actually are. Sometimes I have weak moments, and it doesn't necessarily mean like I am at someone's mercy, but it means that I feel weak at that point. What I noticed with my ex was that when I felt insecure and when I just wanted attention from him, that's when he was the coldest with me. That's another telltale sign. If they don't comfort you and if they're not there for you whilst you are feeling vulnerable, they're not good for you. They're kicking you whilst you're down. So I've been recording for a really long time. Yeah. So I'm gonna end this with, if you're getting into a relationship with this type of person, regardless of what type of relationship you get into, you should not sacrifice the time that you used to spend with your family and your friends. You should keep them in your life near enough the same amount that they were in before. I know that relationships take up a lot of people's time, but if you start to see one of these sociopathic, narcissistic people, they will start to very surreptitiously get you to spend less time and put less trust in these people that have known you all your life. These types of people will also have problems with you telling other people about your problems. Say, for example, if you have an argument with this person or a disagreement, and then you go and tell your friends about it to get their take on it. If you dare tell your partner that you've done that, they will start to be really pissed off that you are telling other people about their manipulation, because it's getting in the way of their plan. But if you've got people in your life that you completely trust and you know they have your best interests at heart, tell them what's going on. Tell them that you're having these kind of doubts and get their take on it. And if all of your friends are turning around saying the same thing and they're good friends, listen to them. If you isolate yourself whilst you're being gaslit, you are literally throwing yourself into the lions. I know that some people struggle because they are actually being forced into a situation where they are being isolated. Just find a way to escape from these types of people, because it will never end good. Trust me. So we're at the end of this video. I hope you learned something new. And also, I'm really feeling like this is the type of vibe I want to take throughout my channel. I really want to help people become empowered. I want to help people with self-development, and women in particular, I want to help them to kind of feel stronger within themselves, because I feel like a lot of women are suffering this kind of situation at the moment. I know it can be flipped the other way around as well. But anyway, be sure to hit the like button if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Love you, bye!